Hey, everybody.
That's me.
Hello, I'm also everybody.
Brandon, it's good to hear from you again. Frank, you as well.
You as well?
You as well.
Thank you.
We're here.
That was, Brandon pointed that out. That's one of the things that goons in Arkham Asylum say in that game when they find like someone's been knocked out. One of the many calls is "You as well."
Yeah. Man, I loved that one. I forgot about that. I should play those games again. You as well? It sounds like something that was translated from another language.
Right.
It's an American game.
Well, it's a British game, but still.
Okay, maybe that's a thing British goons say. Like when you find like a soccer hooligan beaten up by a Manchester United guy, you're like,
You as well?
You as well.
You as well? It's the original Body Time. This is episode 309 of Insert Credit, a video game podcast with a honorable panel and an horrible buzzer. I'm Alex Jaffe, and I always use the default controller configuration because I believe that customization is an act of arrogance.
My name is Frank Cifaldi, and am I supposed to explain why I always use the default controller configuration?
If you do.
I got it. Okay. And I always start with the default custom configuration, controller configuration, custom configuration. But I will automatically change the camera inversing if I don't agree with it. Sometimes it's wrong. Sometimes the buttons are wrong, man. Like this morning, I was playing as one does Dragon's Lair on the NES.
Naturally.
Oh yeah,
I actually think it's a really interesting game.
it is. It is.
It is a really interesting game, and the buttons are reversed on that, where B is jump and A is action, and that's just objectively wrong. So
That's wrong. Yeah.
In Tim's Mister that's in my house that he plays every game on, I changed the button config on that. So sometimes I do it when it's just objectively wrong.
Mister lets you remap the buttons per game.
That's right.
It's very
That's
nice. It doesn't have to be per core.
Mhm.
Quite smart. Useful for every Sega Genesis game where there was almost zero agreement over what button was what, except for the games where every button was the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to say not only are those two buttons reversed, select is pause.
Ooh.
So,
Ooh,
yeah,
that's some
those
absolute
were bad people that made that interesting game.
contrarianism there. I'm Tim Rogers, and I'm one of those people who, with movies, I follow directors, right? We all probably do this to a certain extent. I like directors. Apparently
Yeah,
this is
go to their house.
apparently that's a weird thing these days with the kids. The kids don't all follow directors as much as you might expect. They go out more after their favorite superheroes or whatever, cynical old guy complaint I can histrionically, theatrically make here. I follow directors, and in a similar way, I follow specific staff members of video games, and we need not get into that. This is building up to me saying I respect designers, and one of the things the designers do is choose which buttons you should use for a game. So I too always check out the default control scheme, but when stuff is objectively wrong, as in, the B button being to jump and the A button being to attack on a Nintendo Entertainment System game, I look up the names of all the people responsible for that game, and I put them on my list. And then I never trust them ever again. And also, as regards modern, the Super Metroid, what's going on there? X button to shoot, A button to jump on a Nintendo game for the Super Nintendo? It's Y and B, you goddarn Nimrods. They're on my goddarn list, right?
Yeah.
And in modern times, I respect the default usually, but if a game requires me to use L and R, like for example the Yakuza games, I can't hold down. Like I cannot hold the RB down while pressing face buttons. It feels so uncomfortable, or at least it feels so uncomfortable compared to the luxury of using my ring finger to depress a nice little hair trigger paddle on the back of an Xbox Elite controller
I've done that.
and just hold that down. And then, because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm holding down the god darn right bumper button about 90% of the time during every battle in a Yakuza game, right? You got to. For your combos, right?
I just mash, but
you can get pretty good at the combo. You just press the press the. I'm trying to think in terms of PlayStation people. Everybody plays these games on PlayStation. Press the triangle button every once in a while. Give it a shot. You pepper it in there. You pepper it in there. You pepper it in there. You put it in there every couple of hits. But yeah, and stick clicks. I don't trust any game developer who puts something absolutely essential on a stick click.
Yeah, that's the worst. Yeah. Shouldn't do it.
Don't like those either.
So stick click should just be like center camera, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
My default for my paddles on my Xbox controller is I'm going to show you with my fingers, and you can assume going clockwise from upper left for the listener. My default for my paddles is LB, RB, right stick, left stick. Right? It's just I keep those on the paddles by default. If a game is, I do change those for. I have like 20 different profiles for the controller for the paddles alone. So one nice thing about the Xbox Accessories app that they've just kind of blown the doors off of accessibility and such is they let you put whatever button you want on whatever button you want. It's not just the paddles. You can map any button to paddles. You can map paddles as shift. For Armored Core, I've had to put stuff on a shift. There's like more than 12 actions I want to be able to perform while not removing my right thumb from the right analog stick. It's just it's a real hamburger handful of a video game. So I guess my answer to this question is default control scheme. It's been 4 months. I'm rounding up. I'm a 45-year-old man. I don't read video game reviews because I am video game reviews. I don't need default control schemes because I can make my goddamn own. So forget it. Forget it. Thank you.
We got one more person on this show.
It's true.
Who cares? He probably agrees with me, right?
Well, I'm Brandon Sheffield, and it's true that I don't have that much to add at this point because everybody done said it. I definitely do not like, you start playing a PS2 game from 2001, and the camera is like, who thinks this is right? Where you're not moving the camera, but the world instead. Because there's the idea that you couldn't envision a camera and that the world makes more sense to move. That has finally stopped, and I think everybody's accepted that you move the camera, not the world. But it used to be pretty weird like that. And sometimes I would find that when I would change it, especially in, for example, a flying game where it's like, wait, do I want up to go down or up to go up? Sometimes when I change it, I forget what I like which way is the good one. I'm like, wait, now everything feels wrong. So,
I think it depends on the game.
It does.
Most of the time, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but that can sometimes happen. And just as a little defender of select as pause, that happens on PC Engine games sometimes because they need 3 buttons and they use run as.
Yeah, that is not what happened here.
But
the start button seems to do nothing.
But that's also stupid because when you got run as a button that you have to hit right next to select, and run and select hit together, reset your game, you get into some real situations.
Remember like Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition for the Special Champion Edition for the Sega Genesis? They put the word special in the name to make it sound like that was the least they could do.
Did start switch between punch and kick? Is that what it did?
Yeah, yeah. You press start to change the buttons between punch and kick. If you
was wild.
After the manner of the typical vagabond happen to lack the 6-button controller, you must press start to switch between punches and kicks. There was a real button shortage amongst the Sega Genesis fan community at that point in time.
The great button shortage of the 90s that the Jaguar overcorrected toward by having 15 million buttons.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Jaguar, I think that takes us into our first topic.
Let's do it.
Frank Cifaldi, I wanted to ask you how that pop-up Jaguar museum turned out during our week away from the show.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, I just got back from Portland Retro Gaming Expo.
How tired are your arms?
I didn't say fly back.
Oh, you didn't? God darn it.
Gotcha.
Doesn't work, Brandon.
How tired are your guts?
The nonprofit that I run, Video Game History Foundation, we put on a little pop-up museum every year at that expo, and we're way too ambitious. Normally a museum at a show like this is like we set up some old systems and you can touch them, but we want to actually do a museum exhibit. I think I'm just cosplaying running a museum because we're never actually going to do that. And this year's theme by request was the Atari Jaguar, done somewhat under duress, but jovially under duress, if that makes sense.
Love that Jaguar.
Nothing like a jovial duress, am
Just
I
like
right?
this podcast.
That kind of describes most video games because they're manufactured discomforts, right? I mean, it's friction.
Sure.
Fun friction. Jovial duress.
Jovial duress is video game friction. I like that.
Fun friction. Yeah, there we have it.
So we set up a pretty good exhibit because we were able to borrow between two collectors the full library of commercial games, including most of the modern homebrewy stuff. Did you guys know? I didn't know that system was officially opened after its lifespan. I think that's so fascinating.
That's why Songbird was able to just swoop in and get all that stuff going because it was
Songbird became a company because Hasbro inherited the Atari Jaguar, and for some reason in 1999, years after the system was very dead, they opened it up to let anyone publish games for it. That's just so weird, and it's I don't know the story there, but it just kind of seems like someone in power just wanted to. That's the only explanation that makes sense to me.
Oh, that rules.
I never really thought about why it happened, but I did know about it, and I think that's part of, for me, what kept my interest in the Jaguar, because I knew there was, early insert credit days, I was reporting on Jaguar homebrew community.
Well, I was going to say, that news is the ultimate insert credit story. I mean, it's the site hadn't started yet, but that is the most insert credit-y thing that ever happened.
You can now make Jaguar games officially.
But, we set up this whole exhibit that showed all the commercial games, had a bunch of little historical facts. I set up 6 kiosks with very carefully selected games. My favorite kiosk, actually. So all the kiosks were run by Big Pemu, which is the Jaguar emulator that came out, I don't know, this year, I think, by Rich Whitehouse. And I got him to make a custom script for me where it just kind of spins the wheel and picks a random Jaguar game from all of them. And you see it on screen. You see the list scrolling. And it makes a gunshot sound because I think of it as Russian roulette, but the entire chamber is full because it's the Jaguar.
Right.
Very good. Yeah. Oh, there's probably some fun to be had on the Jaguar.
There's fun.
There's gotta be some fun to be had.
I like that first Rayman. It's got a lot of really good pixels.
There's fun for a certain kind of a person.
I will tell you what.
Everybody loves Rayman.
Little kids cannot get enough of Ultra Vortec, the Mortal Kombat-like fighting game on the Jaguar.
That makes sense.
Little kids were screaming. They were just hitting each other and screaming and laughing and having the best time.
All they'd ever seen is just Luffy from One Piece and Boba Fett from the Book of Boba Fett whipping each other with pool noodles in Fortnite, right?
Yeah.
So you give them a little taste of the good old terrible red, right?
Yeah.
You get them hard hooked on that digital red. So, just a little taste of that 90s style. Right.
I want to make sure with the time I have left, I get into the actual cool stuff. So we were able to borrow a hot rod dental camera.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a dental camera from the early 2000s that actually, the guy needed a shell for his dental camera. And he went to the injection molding place and they're like, hey, this video game company just went out of business. I think your stuff would fit in here. Long story short, he bought these Atari Jaguar molds and his dental camera just looks like a white Jaguar.
So I'd never seen one working. That was the coolest thing to me.
This is the first time anyone has ever demonstrated
I've never seen one functional, so that was really neat.
Yeah, so we borrowed, that was actually the demo unit he brought to dental trade shows.
Oh, yeah.
Because that guy's just here in Belmont, and one of the people who works for him goes to the show. So we had it set up, and I bought a video printer, and I allowed people to take pictures of their teeth. You'd monitor it in real time on a CRT, and you could print a picture.
Did you save any lives? Did you catch any, about to burstulous abscesses or anything?
No, but we literally did find a cavity, which I thought was pretty good.
That rules.
Almost no one took me up on printing their teeth. Everyone is self-conscious about their teeth. And also, everyone's teeth suck. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Everyone has bad teeth. It's okay.
Mine are pretty good. I've purchased basically a really nice used Mercedes-Benz on my teeth in the past 6 years or so.
I took pictures of my plaque. I just got right up in there. I'm telling you.
My teeth that are held up to scrutiny. My teeth look so big right now because the gums are just no longer inflamed at all. There's just no inflammation on my gums at all. They are so healthy. Yeah, so the teeth look bigger because the gums, when the gums are inflamed, they like start to cover the teeth up, and you end up with like baby teeth.
Wait, I wanted to hear.
Did you say that's time? Because I wasn't done talking about the cool stuff because Tim had to talk about his teeth.
Oh, teeth is good though. Teeth is good.
I want to hear about the
Mercedes,
cats.
decent.
We got to talk about the kittens. Stop talking.
Okay.
Cats suck.
So I partnered with a local cat rescue in Portland, and they installed what they called snuggle tents. And what I called an exhibit on tiny Jaguars. We had 2 tents, 6x6, that were just full of kittens, 5 to 6 kittens each. For $5 donated to this rescue, you got 5 minutes in a tent to to have your way with the kittens in a nice way.
I didn't see any pictures of the kittens. That's what surprised me.
Oh, I've got some. I can send some.
Okay, thanks.
The kittens had Jaguar costumes.
Oh, really?
They had little like Jaguar print bandanas on, and they put some jungle theming on the tents, which was very cute.
Yeah, and you got "Come Pet the Cat," obviously.
I had a sign that said "Come Pet the Cats."
Yeah, because you got to do that.
Yeah.
And
did you listen to my suggestion about printing out and enlarging Dave Halverson's Cybermorph article?
I heard but did not listen to.
You should have done it. It would have been good. Just frame it like professionally.
I thought about it. I just didn't. There wasn't space, and it was too hard to explain. But long story short, so the 2 tents work. The kittens only work 4 hours a day.
Union rules.
Because they're kittens, and they were booked the entire time. We raised $1,500 to help kittens.
Wow,
that's great.
And everyone who works at the show is like, we have to have kittens every year. The rescue is like, we have to come every year. I believe next year we will do it again, probably with 3 tents instead of 2. But how
are you going to theme it?
Well, that's the thing. I think once you've done it once, do you really have to theme it? But if we really, really had to theme it, I think I could do a small exhibit that's like great moments of cats in video games and just have that as a permanent exhibit next to the tents.
Or you could also just name the tents. Like you got your Bubsy tent, you got your
Jaguar
tent.
Yeah.
Just
Blinks
name
the Time Sweeper tent.
Yeah, Blinks tent.
Blinks ain't no goddamn cat. He's a forest creature. He's some fictional thing. I don't know. Maybe he's not. I don't care.
He does walk on hind legs, so he's not a regular one anyway.
Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, Bubsy. You can figure it out. That's
in summary, kids love Ultra Vortec, and we raise a lot of money for kittens.
I love it.
Love it.
I had this situation in the airport somewhat recently where I was sitting with my dog, and some guy came over, just like walked over from like 100 feet away, and he says, "Excuse me," and I go, "Yeah," and he says, "My son is allergic to dogs." And I go, "Okay." And he goes, "Would you mind sitting over there?" And he pointed at like the next gate, like a gate down. And I'm looking at this goddarn Rolex wearing, like, looked like a dentist, right? He looked like a dentist. Let's leave it at that. And I'm just like, what? And I'm like, where did you even come from? And so my question is, did anybody do that with cats? Did anybody walk by these obviously contained tents full of kittens and go, "I'm sorry, I'm allergic to cats"? I'm just imagining that guy showing up.
No, there was no even talk of allergies other than people who had allergies but did the tent anyway.
Yeah. It's like people don't care.
That's a classic.
I'm just imagining that guy showing up and being like, "Excuse me."
I was also honestly imagining that guy showing up. I'm glad it didn't.
This is a health code violation, I'm afraid.
Always shows up. Always goddarn. I have people come up and tell me they're allergic to dogs quite frequently when I'm walking my dog. It must be a New York guy thing. It's like, "Excuse me, I'm allergic to dogs. Could you please sit over there?" That was the first time I'd ever gotten that, was in the airport. I was nowhere near this guy, too. Like, what the heck?
I'm sniffling here.
Yeah. It's like, "My son is allergic to dogs."
All right, I got a question.
Where is
for
he?
you.
Sounds like his problem. Yeah.
I don't see him.
Our next question comes from the winner of episode 307, 84 Plays Tina Carter.
307J.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Is taking advantage of a game's technical system when playing in a single-player environment cheating?
Does that mean exploiting weird physics and things like that? What does that mean?
She gives some examples, such as save scumming in Baldur's Gate, or time travel in Animal Crossing, or item duping in Tears of the Kingdom, reloading a save to get all the endings. Is that cheating if it's a one-player game?
I mean, there's no single answer for that. It's too broad a topic. Time travel in Animal Crossing, yes. Save scumming in an RPG, maybe. How do you feel about it, right?
What's the role you're playing?
Time travel in Animal Crossing is grotesque. I would say at that point, just don't play the game.
Yeah, you're cheating yourself out of the game. Like, why are you doing this? Yeah.
Yeah, like, so, I mean, I just want to immediately start talking about this now. I remember when the new Animal Crossing, New Horizons, or whatever it's called, came out, the Switch one, when it just came out at the beginning of the coronavirus, March 20th, 2020, the same day Doom Eternal came out. I was racked with illness from the horrors of the coronavirus when the game arrived, and lying in my bed, struggling to breathe, I read the IGN review of Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
And in the second paragraph, the reviewer guy goes, "The game is so slow to deal out new mechanics. You're expected to wait a day between. You have to meet your quota for this, and then wait a day, and then meet your quota for this, and wait a day. It'll take players 18 days to unlock everything in the game. It is in this reviewer's humble opinion that you manipulate the clock on your Switch to get all of the stuff in one day." And he goes through this long process of explaining it. And I'm like, oh, this is the perspective of a guy who had to review this game for his job. But then you start learning that, like, everyone's doing this. And it's like Mimsy's, like, building up her house and her island. And then her friend is, like, invites her over to her island. And we've got her friend's island on the TV. And it's like her friend's got, like, convenience stores and roads and stuff. And we're like, what is she doing over there in Manhattan, with this Animal Crossing? Like, what's she goddamn doing? And it's like, at that moment, this solitary sort of bad habit one engages in the privacy of their own bedroom, this time traveling in Animal Crossing became another person's sort of semi-problem, which was for me, I was like, I didn't know all this stuff was in here. What's going on? Like, why does she got all this goddamn stuff, right? And so to me, that's no good. I don't think you should do that. And I also think Nintendo should just make better video games than Animal Crossing. So that's my opinion about that. Everything else, I mean, who knows? Some
other things to throw in there, which is coming at it sort of from another direction. There's some games that I feel like are cheating me.
Oh, yeah.
A game where the game is going along at an even pace, and then suddenly there's just this difficulty wall that is ridiculous. And I feel like if I do something to get past that, then that's not cheating because I was being cheated and I'm just reacting to it. Yeah. It's kind of how I feel. Because
I think a lot of people's aversion, like, to the very idea of grinding in a JRPG, I think a lot of people who are just like, they're just immediately like,
yeah, I'm okay with grinding.
They haven't. Well, yeah, okay. So I think a lot of the people who have a strong aversion to grinding, they probably feel like grinding is kind of cheating. You know, grinding does feel a little cheaty. You know. It feels like, oh, I'm just making my guys way stronger than the boss.
It's also sort of semi-encouraged at the same time. So
it is.
I'm talking specifically about something like where you're playing a beat 'em up platform game, and then suddenly there's a level with like death pits. Tons of death pits and things designed to knock you off. And it's like, okay, you guys are cheating me, so I'm going to skip past this and get back to the fun part.
Yeah.
So how would you make a better Animal Crossing then?
Me?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. You said Nintendo should make better games. You think you could make a better Animal Crossing?
How much time do we have left on this
1 minute.
Serious? No.
I don't want to toot my own horn, though. I made a very long video about how one would make a better Animal Crossing, and it has well over 1 million views now.
Oh, that's fair, yes.
With an average view duration of 88 minutes. So that's a lot.
Is that your Boku no Natsuyasumi one?
Yeah.
I figured.
I don't want to spoil anything, though the very end of the video, for the last 20 minutes, I'm like, and that's why Animal Crossing sucks. And I explain why. That's a little spoiler.
Who's Natsuyasumi was that? Keep forgetting.
His name is Kubota Boku. His name is Boku Kubota. His literal first name is Boku. That's a spoiler for Boku no Natsuyasumi as well. Sorry, everybody. It's literally you find that out at the very end.
Is Kubota a first name?
No, it's his last name.
Okay, that makes a lot
So
more
his
sense.
first
to me.
name is Boku. His first name is
Okay.
literally Boku, which
Okay.
kind of rules. Imagine if your first name was myself. That would be
Myself
Sheffield.
I don't think I like it. I don't think I like that.
I Sheffield.
Yeah, I, comma, is my first name.
Time for our Have You Seen the News Lately segment.
Oh yeah, have you seen
Oh,
it?
I seen it.
The Microsoft Activision deal has finally actually happened. What happens now?
Oh man, well, what happens now? Like you're literally asking what happens now. I'm going to tell you what happens now. What happens now is the good times roll. Is what happens now.
Yeah.
Call
I think,
of Duty
also-
on Game Pass, dude. Come on.
We see who Sony buys is definitely one thing that happens now. And another thing
Mhm.
that could happen, which would be very funny, would
Everybody
be if,
Sony's bought is in secret, right?
I guess. It would be
They own stuff under the table.
It would be funny if Microsoft released Spider-Man 2 for the Xbox on Game Pass.
Yeah.
That would be a funny thing that they could do right now. I feel like those kinds of shenanigans occurring would be a fun side effect of this, but I don't know if that's what's going to occur.
Good old Activision, the Active Television. It's interesting that they're owned by someone now. So fun. We've come a long way since Pitfall Harry. You know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm.
Barnstormer. What else did they make on the Atari?
Barnstorming, excuse me. Fantastic game.
Barnstorming is actually one of the most legit 2600 games,
That's
to
really
be
good.
honest. It's like legit. I was playing that on my Mister literally yesterday for no reason. I had fired up Barnstorming, and I was like, oh, this is pretty legit.
Yeah.
You know why I fired the Mister up was to play Sega Saturn games.
And then you ended up on Barnstorming. Yeah, that's Mr. Life right there. That's what it's
I was
like.
I was playing Sega Rally, as one does, doing just free running in Sega Rally, which is one of the most delightful experiences you can have on a video game. And then I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play Barnstorming. So they got to get that on Game Pass. Barnstorming, dude. They got to do it.
They could.
The sky's the limit
Yeah,
now.
I think something that might be interesting to do would be like, what if Microsoft starts getting Activision's like licensed format studios to make some weird Microsoft license games. Whatever licenses Microsoft owns, just be like, all right, guys, you gotta make something with this. That would be neat,
Yeah.
maybe, possibly, or weird.
I'm really trying to care about this this little fun fact that people maybe forgot, but Activision owns Sierra. But
Right.
I can't think of anything that I care about there. I'm sorry,
Oh.
King's Quest fans. King's Quest sucks.
Blast it.
King's Quest, dude.
Now, I'm looking forward to 3D Ultra Pinball making it onto Game Pass.
Could do.
So King's Quest kind of, we will admit King's Quest kind of sucks, but Diddy's Kong Quest is pretty good.
Yeah.
As discussed in our previous recording, I have not played that one yet.
Yeah.
If only Microsoft owned Rare,
Ooh.
and they could
Yeah.
get
What would
they
that
could-
be like?
Do a ROM hack with new characters?
King's Quest, call it Kong's Quest.
Ooh.
Wait, they can't actually do that though, because Diddy Kong is owned by Nintendo, right?
Is Quest 64 the most amount of Quest in a game?
64?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
got
sure there's a
64.
Quest 69 on Steam or something.
There's probably an Infinite Quest app on the App Store or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just an Infinite Jest.
Infinite
License
Jest,
game.
Infinite Quest.
Yeah.
How would you even make an Infinite Jest video game? Is that
I
the
don't know.
question?
Yeah, that is the question.
You just make sure the jokes never stop coming. Just as many jokes as you can get.
You gotta love those jokes.
Jovial Duress, baby. Yeah, Leisure Suit Larry can now cross over with Halo. That's what's going on here.
Master Chief helmets in Candy Crush,
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be
Oh,
good.
right, because you got the King in there as Activision Blizzard King.
which is what Microsoft swears is the real reason they're buying this.
Activision Blizzard King's Quest Sierra, right?
Oh
Yeah,
my
it's-
God, how deep does this go? We're really onto something here.
It's easy to forget that Activision was already like a huge conglomerate of 15 other companies, and now Microsoft bought them.
There's a yard sale in my merger. Is basically what it feels like, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like
it's
there's
weird, man.
a whole bunch of there's a yard sale in my merger. There's a garage full of stuff here. It's not just Overwatch and Diablo and Call of Duty.
Did you see that Activision did like a investor call during the time that they thought it was going to be approved, but it wasn't approved yet. And then they had that talk show host that nobody likes, who doesn't, who's mean
There's a lot of those.
to servers.
James Corden?
Yeah, there you go. He was just there. He was just in the call, and he was like interviewing one of the Activision people.
They hired entertainment for an investor call?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
I hadn't heard of that either. It was
You got to do something to stay ahead of the competition, I guess.
One of our people was in the call and just dropped a screenshot of him there going like, "Hey," with jazz hands, and we were like, "Why?"
That's speaking of people who should be dead.
Yeah.
He's the guy with the car singing in the car. Right?
Yeah, the very same.
And then wasn't his concept of just singing with celebrities in a car like purchased by someone else to like do elsewhere with other people?
Yeah,
it's like can you imagine like hosting a TV show that people make fun of? That then you have like one idea that's not even good, like at all. That someone's like, "Hey, we'll give you some money for this one not even good idea that you have in your show that you're gonna quit pretty soon." And you go, "Yeah, all right, I guess." That goddamn guy.
The funniest thing about that show is that the car is being towed the whole time. Nobody's actually driving.
The funniest thing about that show is imagining someone building like a double coffin to fit both that guy and Jimmy Fallon in there, and putting a big instead of a goddarned American flag draped over the coffin at the funeral, like a big lobster bib.
So you're at a family dinner, and your 6-year-old nephew asks if you've got any games on your phone. What do you show him?
Random.org. I've got random.org. I'm sure you can flip coins. You can try to guess how many heads you're going to get out of 5. Then you can go to 7 if you want. Go to 11 if you want.
Oh, he'd love that.
Yeah.
He'd be really into that.
Endless entertainment. And also, you can identify if the child is any kind of a burgeoning mathematician as well during that particular experience.
What I would try to do is show Zaga 33.
Yeah.
The Michael Bro roguelike-ish thing. But then the nephew would notice that Vampire Survivor is right above that and would just play that for the rest of the day is what would happen.
You're going to have to hide it.
Vampire Survivor.
So I don't have games on my phone because I'm not lacking an opportunity to play video games. Like whenever I want to, I can just do that and I don't need more of it.
So what are you going to do for your nephew?
Well, I do. So I have one game on my phone. It was Tim's pointing at Slack on his phone. No, okay.
No, it's random.org.
It's random. Okay. And the one game on my phone I was feeling nostalgic for, and I grabbed it. Super Hexagon. So I guess that's what my nephew's playing. So I'm gonna see how far he can get on Super Hexagon.
Not a bad one.
I do a lot of second screen entertainment because I watch these just terrible, awful movies that I sometimes recommend when I find a good one. But a lot of the time, it's just people in a room with 90s hair yelling at each other things that they don't really even understand. And so I play a lot of Hold Down during that time. I don't know if my nephew is going to like Hold Down, but I play a lot of Hold Down. I got a new high score the other day, 1268, pretty decently high.
1268.
Yeah, I'm just going to remember that number forever for no reason now.
Yeah, might as well.
Because I sang it as a jingle? Is that why?
Well, Jeff, if I beat it, I'll let you know, and then you can remember a new number.
I'll update my score. Yeah, I'll be your living hold-down scoreboard from here on out.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
It's too bad you couldn't get one more point, huh?
It is.
Because then it would be
For what reason?
It is too bad. It is too bad. Well, sorry, nephew.
And then you could say, "Oh, I am 1269," is what you would say, and it'd be like, "Oh no,
yeah,
oh no."
Show up at a party.
I bet you thought when I said one more point, 60. You just thought 69 itself was the entirety of the joke. No.
And
there was
yet,
a slightly more a richer numerological interest than you might have at first perceived, which is why I saw fit to explain it myself.
That's the kind of person who has random.org queued up on their phone for a nephew ready to go.
I've got it
Someone
right
thinks
there.
a lot about number puns.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Of course, you go to random.org and you use the English £1 coin as your coin flipper. And then you just do 5s and 7s. You go, I'm betting on heads, I'm betting on tails, and you just flip them.
Why is that the premium coin?
That's it. I like it. You ever hold a British £1 coin?
They're pretty solid.
I have, yeah. There's a nice weight to it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very satisfying, mate.
Sterling.
Very nice. £1 sterling. It weighs
A real pog slammer of a coin.
You just said there's a nice weight to the pound.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very,
That's right.
very
He sure
good.
did.
Yeah.
Carry around 10 of those things. You're getting pretty tough.
Yeah.
10 pounds, 20
I
pounds.
mean, it is a very good coin.
Yeah, it's a good coin.
It's
All right,
it's a
I'm going to have to
wonderful
reflect on that as we take a break. We'll be right back.
Oh yeah! Woo-wee!
Y'all ready for this?
Dun, 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 dun.
Welcome back to Insert Credit. Let's go to the dirtbag, why don't we? This
Hey,
week's
why not?
question asker is Tom Arrow. Now let me tell you about Tom Arrow. Tom Arrow is one of the fine people who gave us a few bucks a month to get on our list of patrons at patreon.com/insertcredit.
He pays the money just to get on the list. That's it.
Yeah, he pays money to get on that list. He gets some other cool stuff too.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
It's true.
He also gets a bonus episode every month and other cool surprises that only people who are exclusive members of this Patreon could tell you about.
It's going to be a bunch of weird bonus stuff coming up in the next month or so. So
Coming
get ready
at
for
you.
that.
Does he get each episode of the podcast early?
No.
Oh, why not? That's why not? What the heck? Well, it sounds like a pretty bad deal for him then. I mean,
Yeah, I know. I
don't
guess
know.
it's a scam.
Regardless, we are very appreciative towards those who choose to take this dirtbag segment up upon their shoulders. One of
yeah.
those people being Tom Arrow, who asks, what are some other video game franchises that could make interesting use of the Sonic and Knuckles lock-on technology? The thing that lets you slap other Sonic games into the top of your cart.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's not just DLC. Like, isn't that every game?
yeah.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's right.
It
That's
kind of is.
Basically, Sonic and Knuckles predicted the future in that
Yeah.
regard. I'd say.
I think to be in the spirit of the question, we should go like of the
Oh,
era.
older titles get like pasted onto newer. Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't that just memory card like save files? All right.
Well,
anyway.
no.
It's got to take data from the old game.
Yeah.
That's the spirit of it. Is that it takes data from a prior released game. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think you could, if you want to, capture the spirit of the lock-on technology with a DLC or an add-on in a modern game in a manner that doesn't, it doesn't have to literally be a physical cartridge that clicks
Yeah.
into another cartridge. I think you can capture the spirit of it. Okay, so I've been living a lie for the past couple of years. I'd actually never finished the game Lost Judgment it's the one Yakuza series game I never finished. I'd gotten to the end of it and then just not really. I didn't. I don't want to sound like a hater. I didn't really care anymore.
Well, the problem with that one is the story is like it foreshadows it so successfily, and you got to wait for the
Yeah.
characters to be like, really, to all this stuff that you've already been
Yeah.
shown. So it's a little hard to care.
It's like I hate to be one of those guys who's like, I saw the ending coming a mile away, but it's like I think
Yes.
everybody did, and
They
it's
did.
like it was at a point where it was
Everyone accepts the characters, which is when that gets real frustrating.
Oh, that's frustrating, yeah.
when a critic busts out the word melodrama. Often they're referring to a story of far foregone conclusions where you're just waiting for the characters to catch up with the audience's investment, and you're just watching them go through the motions. Anyway, I beat the game. Did you beat it, Brandon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I beat the game, had a good time, because now I'm free to finally do the school side quests. Maybe I'm a freak. I don't like doing the side quests in a Yakuza game until I've finished the story, because I like to think of them as the filler episodes between the arcs in the anime. Does that make sense?
Wait,
Yeah.
sorry, Lost Judgment. I actually haven't played Lost Judgment yet. Just the
Oh,
first
you
one.
haven't?
It's the next one I'm gonna play, and so I haven't done any of the school stuff.
So let's just say Lost Judgment is, I think it's the worst Yakuza adjacent game.
Damn.
I think. But it's still a good time.
I'm in that situation with Yakuza 6 right now, which I'm currently experiencing.
You don't really like Yakuza 6?
No, there's a lot of good stuff in it, but not enough side quests. Side quests end halfway through. also they're just so mean to Haruka in all of these games, but especially in this one where they're just
especially in 6. It's kind of the point of the story there.
Yeah, she's the woman character, so let's make the bad thing, even though she's just 19 now. Anyway, but we're talking about the lock-on.
Yeah. So the reason I'm talking about lock-on, apropos of this, is Lost Judgment. Lost Judgment makes several references to the Yakuza series. Okay. As you would expect, you wouldn't expect them to ignore the Yakuza series in the Judgment series, right? Even though the Yakuza series, I guess, mostly ignores the Judgment series. I just kind of thought, it being Sega and all, and it being 2 series, there are references to Yakuza in Lost Judgment, and it's been confirmed that a character from Judgment is in the new Yakuza game. So I just thought the way to actually bring forward the idea of the lock-on DLC would be to your partner in Judgment is that Kaito guy who's like a cool guy who's like an ex-Yakuza, to really truly bring I'm answering this question a little too seriously now, to really truly bring the lock-on cartridge idea into the future would be to release a version of Yakuza 4 or whatever that you play as a guy from Judgment, but it's his past or whatever, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's the only thing that strikes me in my head is it's just here's a remaster of this game, but now you're playing as a guy from another series that is connected, and you're seeing what he was doing during that story. Ooh. It interweaves throughout.
Oh, like the GTA 4 DLCs.
Yes.
It
exactly.
makes sense because the whole time I was playing Judgment, I was like, I wish this was Akiyama instead, or somebody like that. And if they had put whatever was going on with him in the same town at the same time, I would play that. I have a stupid answer too. Oh, Frank,
can I do my stupid answer first? I think you should be able to lock on Super Mario Brothers 2 with any cartridge, and what it does is it takes the victory screen at the end and recontextualizes it as Mario's dream.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It's just the ending to every game is
Mario the ending of every game is Mario dreamt it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Frank, you had one?
I don't know that I have one, but I like Tim's answer as a fun thing I'd like to experience, but I feel like that is just DLC again, whereas I think the Sonic 3 lock-on to Sonic and Knuckles is basically it's almost free. You know what I mean? It's just you now have this content in this game. It's the same content, but now it's here. So I just keep thinking about the ability to go explore the map in a prior game to go get their power-ups or whatever, and then jump back to the map of where, I don't know, it's got to be same engine, blah, 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 but maybe Fallout New Vegas, you can travel to the Fallout 3 map and grab some things before going, what I mean?
Is it more like the mode you did in Mega Man Legacy Collection or whatever it was called, where you could jump between games? And I guess it's a little different, but
but it could be something like that.
The spirit of that is there,
because it's a very similar game. You can jump into the content of the other one, maybe with your new moves or something, if it makes sense, right? You could kind of backward, I don't know, the Arkham games, right? They're all Unreal games. They're probably not copy paste, but let's just pretend they are. Right? Maybe you could go back to the older games with the abilities you have in the new game and play through them again, but with being able to do more stuff. I think that's more in the spirit than actual new content and stuff when combining them.
The reason I say the actual new content thing, and I should add, I actually would trust Ryuga Gotoku Studio to actually pull this off in a good way. I think it would have to be new content to actually have the impact that the lock-on technology had back then, but also I think it kind of points to a lack of imagination in the types of characters we have in video games, that I can't really think how fun would it be to play Ghost of Tsushima as Kratos from God of War. How fun would it be to play? Imagine if Sony interconnected all their games. Now you can play Ghost of Tsushima, you can play Horizon Zero Dawn as the guy from Ghost of Tsushima. You can play God of War as Ellie from The Last of Us.
There was a flash mod of Super Mario Brothers like that, where you could play as a bunch of different platformer protagonists.
Yeah, but it's how awesome would it be if one of these first party people would do that? And I feel with these Marvel games, so they have 3 Spider-Man games now. They've got a Wolverine game coming out, if they would have it be like you can play the original Spider-Man, or you can play the Wolverine game as Spider-Man with the DLC. Like, I don't know.
Even if it's, well, like I think the spirit here would be you can run around the city. You know, there might be a couple little side missions, right? Like there might be some new content, but just like a tiny bit, right? It's like
you can't play Wolverine's story.
You can revisit New York as Wolverine, and he's got like a very small mission chain, and it's just a fun afternoon. Like, I think that's a really great way of doing this. Yeah,
I want to play Dino Crisis 2 as Leon Kennedy, and it just has new cutscenes, and he's like, dinosaurs? What?
I want to play The Last of Us 2 as Kratos, dude. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I think that would be pretty legit, especially if he just replaces Ellie in like all the cutscenes. I think that would be like really legit.
If we want to do what the dream of the late 80s, the early 90s always was for a certain subset of person, we got Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and we got Sonic Superheroes coming out at the same time.
Same day, right?
Put Sonic in Mario, put Mario in Sonic, call it a day.
I did that already in my fanfic.
Yeah.
They blew the doors off the idea with Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, but then nobody went in after the doors were blown off.
Yeah, the doors were just off.
The doors got blown off, and now there's just no
doors.
doors.
The horses were free, and nobody came.
Big elaborate Olympic doors. Yeah.
There's no doors, and the room is empty.
Speaking of Yakuza, it's been 2 months since our episode 300, which means, as per our arrangement, it's time to design a mini game for Insert Credit, the video game.
Oh.
Is that the question?
Yes.
Oh.
Mini game. Man, I've forgotten so much about what we were even talking about.
It was a Yakuza-like set in 2012 Oakland.
In Oakland, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we designed some mini games at the time.
We did.
And there's a fast travel to get from Temescal to Emeryville, which is very funny.
We should have a design a pizza.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
We have
it's
to.
Not.
Then.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's a multi-stage. It's basically Ore no Ryori for the Sony PlayStation, where it's like a multi-stage.
Ore no pizza.
You've got to make pizza,
and
that's it. And it's multiple stages.
I think it's I don't know why this is out of character, but part-time job at the pizza place, the lane splitter or whatever, and it's basically diner dash but Yakuza, right? I think that's the way to do it. You know, you have to make sure you're getting the correct order. You have to make sure you're not upsetting. Well, I guess that now that I think about it, like running the club was diner dash, right?
It was.
Okay,
yeah.
So I guess it's that, but there's a pizza making component.
Frank, have you not played Ore no Ryori for the PlayStation? Because you can check it out on your Mister.
Oh, I can. Yeah.
Check it out.
Do I need to sound the air horn?
It's very good.
I didn't bring it up. Tim's allowed to bring it up. I get the air horn. I'm past it now. I'm just full cult member. We're done.
Mr.
Yeah.
I remember
You
this
can
guy.
play it on your Mister.
Are there any others that we want to do? 2012, I didn't have a dog, so I couldn't do any dog park mini games.
I was acquainted with at least a dozen dogs in 2012. I think we mentioned this during the previous recording.
I think you get a lot of quest lines from the dogs.
I think that was okay Cupid time for me. Maybe there's something there.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm getting at as well. Yeah, 100%, Jerry.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you ever swiped in a Yakuza?
Swiped?
I don't know if you did. Well, you didn't do that in OkCupid.
No, it had a thing at the time.
Did it?
Yeah, there was a thing, but it was like secondary.
Was there an app? I don't remember.
Yeah, there was an app and there was swiping. The primary use case was still like actually talking to each other, but there was a like matching by swiping thing that I'm guessing is the main use case now.
There should be an app where you swipe right or left and possibly get rewards, in-game rewards, or possibly get in a fight.
Yeah. Yeah, you might match someone who just wants to fight you. Yeah.
Instead of Tinder, it's like an app for getting items, right?
Yeah.
It's like a Tinder, but it's for getting items. And you just swipe right or left, depending on how you feel about like the particular person's face or whatever. Do you would think you want what I have? And sometimes the item is a beating.
I heard about a side quest recently There's only 2 shops in the United States that get this giant Italian cheese wheel that's 350 pounds. And one of them is in the Temescal area. It's Market Hall, which is near where Frank and I used to live by the Rock Ridge BART
What's the
station.
other one then?
That particular Market Hall is one of 2 places that gets its cheese wheel.
Correct.
What's the other one?
In America.
Wow.
What's the other one?
The other one, believe it or not, is in Concord, Massachusetts.
Concord.
Oh.
Concord, Massachusetts.
Not the Concord that's near us. It's Concord, Massachusetts, which
I'll
has
go there right now.
very few people compared to the Concord, California. Concord, like it's perfect for a side quest because one of the people there was a friar, a father actually, who wandered over because he heard about the cheese, and they live a few blocks away at a seminary and residence for Dominican friars. And he made a note that he is 1/4 Italian, so it was very important that he be there. And he blessed the cheese, but he was just there impromptu. He wandered over from because he heard about the big cheese. Anyway,
Are we rolling a cheese wheel? Is that where
we're
going?
rolling it. We're trying to guard it in the parades that it doesn't fall down first, etc.
There's snipers trying to shoot holes through it, turn it into a Swiss cheese to devalue it.
Swiss snipers.
Snipers from Switzerland.
Is who's there.
Yeah.
Trying to put holes in the cheese. Yeah.
Okay, this is it. Yeah.
That's it. I think with that, it's time to go on to our lightning round.
Oh, I just want to point out that Concord, Massachusetts is 180 miles from my current location.
Well, there you
And
go.
if I were to leave right now, I could get there in 6 hours and 10 minutes on an Amtrak. So
Well, I could get to Market Hall in about 15 minutes if I got in my car.
6 hours and 10 minutes on an Amtrak.
I'm going to try to get some of that big cheese. I'll let y'all know how it turns out.
Big boy cheese.
Big boy cheese.
Hey, yeah, why not?
They must carry it at the other Market Hall, right? The Berkeley one?
Nope.
Isn't that affiliated? Really?
Berkeley.
They only have it at the Oakland one. Well, maybe they bring some over. It's possible.
It's like a big thing you can go point at? Like, what's up?
It's a huge 350-pound wheel of cheese that you can get little bits of. You can.
But
you can
are
eat it.
you able to see the big wheel somewhere, or is that hidden?
in
like behind the counter?
I think so. Here, I'll send you a picture of it. I'll put it in the host.
I want to go see the big cheese. I like.
Go
it.
see the big cheese. Get a picture of yourself with a big cheese, and we'll put it in the forum thread.
That's a big cheese.
All right, if it's there, maybe you and I should coordinate and get a picture.
Yeah, let's go check it out.
Yeah.
Let's get a chunk of that cheese.
That could be one of our Patreon treats. Frank
Could be
and
the
Brandon
Christmas
with the
card.
cheese.
Could be this year's Christmas card.
Yeah, insert credit Christmas card.
Is Brandon and Frank in front of the
with
big
the cheese.
Yeah.
Put on some Santa hats. I would love that.
Yeah.
It's time for a lightning round. I'm debuting a new game this week that I'm calling Video Game Baby Shoes. I am going to name a game, and you have to summarize its story in 6 words.
6 words. All right. Yeah, let's do it.
There we go. Your first game is Gone Home.
Going home.
I went home. I am sad.
Pretty good. Point for Brandon.
Find out where everybody went to.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm home. Where did everybody go?
Points for all of you. Final Fantasy VII.
The girl died and I am sad.
It's too many words.
The planets die in cloud. Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
All right. The Witcher 3.
Oh, I'm the Witcher. Hello, Siri.
Man takes a bath before adventuring.
That's good.
Oh, yeah. Big bathtub. Never used, except once by a Witcher.
Silent Hill 2.
Oh,
No spoilers.
I'm a man, and my wife is dead. Wife's dead, big bed.
That's 4 words.
Is my wife dead?
It's my wife dead. Oh, Lord.
The old hole is gone now.
Isn't that 4?
The old hole is
I
gone
was
now.
trying to figure out how.
Oh, no, that was 2 that
was
has
2.
the hole. Okay.
Yeah.
There was a hole here. There was a hole here.
You gotta have one more. I was trying to get it to 6. That's the tough part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that tough.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
It could be done.
It could be done.
My friends are
Kingdom Hearts 3.
my Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Oh, that's really good. Oh, yeah, that's it. Portal.
The cake.
The cake is alive today.
The cake, not so true, buddy.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Now I done seen everything. That's not enough words.
Now
That's
I've
5
done
words.
seen everything, friend.
Every and
Partner.
thing are 2 different words.
Now I done seen everything. Now I done seen everything.
Oh, here you go. Now I done did seen everything.
Okay.
Now I done did seen everything.
Metal Gear Solid 4.
Guns of the Patriots, my friend.
Lolly Lule Low, okay?
Guns of the Patriots, my friend.
Yes.
Gun.
Heavy Rain.
This rain ain't getting any heavier. This rain ain't getting any lighter.
My name is David Cage, and that's it.
Another David Cage game, you freaks.
I'm David Cage. Arrest me, please. I'm David Cage. Jail me, please.
Well, it's time to cage this episode.
It is time to cage this episode.
Guy literally has Cage in his name. He
Yeah.
wants to go to jail. He wants to be in jail. He does not want to be free. He wants to be arrested. Go get him, boys. Come on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Tim, you've won too many episodes, so I'm penalizing you. Frank, you win this episode. Congratulations.
All right.
Penalizing?
Yeah, you've overflowed your win bank account, so I got to give it to the next runner-up, and that's Frank.
Wonderful.
Congratulations, Frank. You have homework
Thank
for
you.
next week. Does anyone have anything they'd like to plug or recommend before next week, which will be our Halloween episode?
Oh, spooky.
I like to
season.
plug in my iPad, which was unplugged this whole time.
I got a couple things.
All right.
One is the Devil's Blush zines that you can buy. Those are nice. Little book, got a bunch of little screenshots of cool video games in it. They're nice and kind of fun to look at. So there's volume 1 and 2 that you can get.
I love a screenshot.
And another, Izumi Suzuki, you may have heard, she's been getting talked about lately as kind of a newly popular, though very old, kind of feminist sci-fi author. She wrote the 2 books of hers that have come out in English, Terminal Boredom and Hit Parade of Tears. Those are short story collections. It's pretty interesting to read. Also, the translation is super variable because it's like a collection of things translated by like 6 different people. But I had a moment reading Terminal Boredom where it was a story about how people are, all watching their personal screens and they're getting kind of like addicted to violence and paying more attention to the screen as reality than human space and feeling things more in that way. And I was like, yeah, okay, fair enough. It's one of these. It's done well, but then I was like, wait, actually, she wrote this in like 1976.
Yeah, dude.
When there weren't personal screens, you didn't have your phone on you all the time, and the kind of shock thing wasn't as in flavor. So yeah, it's pretty neat, and it's cool to read something that is like so many old sci-fi things. You read them and you're like, yeah, dude wrote this, and you read this one, and many times it's like, wow. Definitely a dude didn't write this. It's pretty neat. So I recommend that. Recommend both of her compilations. Also, she straight up died in a not very happy way, and you can sad but true read some of that in this, and it was just very, very interesting in a sad way. There's a lot of nuance and layers to it. So give yourself a look. The end.
Frank, what you got?
I've had very little time for entertainment since last show, so I got nothing.
Are you drinking anything interesting lately?
Water.
No.
Are you a beverage? Are you?
I had a Diet Dr. Pepper today. It was fine.
Was it flat?
No, all right.
You must not live in Manhattan, New York City, then.
Is that the land of flat Diet Dr. Pepper?
Every Diet Dr. Pepper I buy is flat.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that. That's the water. It's that special water.
Do not understand it.
Speaking of beverages and promoting things, pretty soon on the Patreon, you're going to be able to hear something that I did on a whim, which was I went to a grocery store in Japan and I purchased every non-alcoholic beer that I could find, which turned out to be round about 10 of them.
Oh,
And I reviewed every one. So
that sounds thrilling.
yeah, get ready for the thrill ride of your life. Frank actually
Oh,
just
yeah.
yawned.
I
as said
literally
that.
just yawned.
Tim, would you like to recommend a particular type of t-shirt to our audience?
No.
Anything else?
What would I recommend? Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't have anything. I guess let's just say I don't got nothing. I don't got nothing today.
That's fine. I've got recommendations of my own. I would like to
yeah.
recommend, if you've enjoyed this or any episode of Insert Credit, that you please rate and review our show wherever and however you can. You could just say "It's Body Time" in the text if you like. A lot of people have done that. You can also support us on patreon.com/insertcredit, where you could become a patron to submit your own questions, listen to monthly bonus episodes, and hear Brandon rank all of the non-alcoholic beers he could find.
Yes.
If you'd like to sponsor our show with an advertisement or personal message, please do that. Get in touch with me at show@insertcredit.com and we'll strike up a scintillating conversation. You can also join our community at forums.insertcredit.com or find videos of these episodes on youtube.com/insertcreditshow. By Hypergun Sport, Wishlist Demon School.
Yeah.
This episode is edited by Esper Quinn with original music by Kurt Feldman. I'm Alex Jaffe.
I'm Frank Cifaldi.
I'm Tim Rogers.
I'm Brandon Sheffield.
And my friends are my Kingdom Hearts.
I just remembered that someone came up to me at Portland Retro Gaming Expo and said, thanks for being the voice of reason on Insert Credit.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Dude must love PCs.